Hello and welcome. Amid escalating tensions, there are now reports that several US fighter jets have been shot down. That's happened in Kuwait, and this is sharply escalated tensions. There are no confirmed reports. However, Kuwait has, in fact, put out a release that indicates that some jets have been shot down. There was a visual of one jet, but it was said to have been shot down due to a friendly fire. But as you can see, tensions are on the rise in Middle East after US and Israel conducted those strikes inside Iran, and Iran has retaliated. So while recent military operations appear aimed at degrading Iran's capabilities and reinforcing deterrence rather than explicitly pursuing regime change, some would say, but others would argue that entire process is done to bring about a regime change. The downing of multiple jets has, however, signals a dangerous phase of direct engagement. You can see on those visuals, that's the school which was targeted in Iran, and there are also now visuals coming from Israel where residential complexes have been hit. This is Burj Khalifa in the UAE, the tallest building of the world, which also there was explosions in its vicinity, and those are the skies of the Middle East. You can see that they are lit up with those missiles that have been fired from multiple directions. Iran has really been firing those missiles and drones at multiple countries, including UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, and other places, all those places which have a US military installation. So where is this war going? Is it all about a regime change, or there is more to it? And is there an end game that is in sight once the war was started by America and Israel? And how, what are its implications for India? Remember, Prime Minister Modi has also spoken about it today. Let's introduce our guests today on the show. Let's introduce our panel. We got joined by an eminent panel. We're joined by General Dhruv Katoch. Welcome to Mojo Story, sir. And we're also joined by Ambassador Dilip Sinha. If I may start with you, General Saab, in the morning we saw those visuals of a jet that was shot down in Kuwait, and it was said that it's been shot down due to a friendly fire. But now there are reports that multiple jets, American jets, have been shot down, and obviously all those would not have been shot down due to friendly fires. You can see on that visual that one of the jets that's coming falling down. How do you see the war going now? It's been 2 days. It seems to be escalating. What is the way that you're looking the things are heading on?
Regarding the jets falling down, yes, Kuwait has actually, their government spokesperson has said that a number of jets. He hasn't said how many, but it is a number of jets have dropped, and he has also stated that the pilots are safe. Now, obviously, these jets have been shot down uh, by anti-aircraft fire or by missiles, and I don't call this a provocation. I think that is self-defense. So if somebody is attacking you, you got the full right to defend yourself. So this is war as it is progressing. That is one. Number two, escalation. The escalation started from the very first day. So I don't think there's any act which can take place which will say that the matter is escalating.
Right.
Aircraft will be attacked, ships will be attacked, hotels, everything is on the cards. Iran has made it very clear that there are no further red lines. After Khomeini was killed, they made it very clear there are no red lines, they will do what they have to do. Number three, I think as far as the Revolutionary Guards are concerned, because that is the prime instrument,
Right.
it is not so much the Iranian army as it is the IRGC. Now, the IRGC, I believe, these are not confirmed reports, but there are reports emanating that there are 31 battalions, and all of them have been told that you can carry out independent operations,
Right.
which I think is a very, very dangerous trend.
Yeah.
Giving such power to independent commanders to do what
Yeah.
they please is really heading for disaster. Now,
Right.
where is it heading? In my view, it cannot last more than uh, I will place it at the top level about 2 weeks. And my assessment for 2 weeks is not due to the ground situation. It is the very fact that Iran is isolated. it doesn't have the capacity to import weapon systems from either China or Russia. The supply routes are restricted. Aerial supply will not work. By sea, they cannot come. The land route is the northern route. I think it'll be very, very difficult to get it from there. So their Iranian supplies will run out. They don't have an unlimited supply of weapons, and as it starts running out, I think then we'll be looking towards peace talks. But till then, I think these hostilities will carry on, and as Iran is not in a position really to target American assets, because they have also moved out to hotels, etc., etc. Uh, I think they will be targeting a very large portion of the civil infrastructure of the Gulf countries, and that will I think that is going to be a very, very dangerous thing for the people living there. Zafar.
Absolutely. And we saw that Aramco oil refinery was targeted today. There were videos that it was hit. Either that missile was intercepted and debris fell on that, or it was directly targeted. And we've seen the airports which were targeted in Middle East. Uh, Dilip Sinha sir, do you think that this time Iran has adopted a different sort of a policy? They are going all out. They are attacking infrastructure in the Gulf countries so that these Gulf countries actually force America to step back. Could that be the reason that infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, airport, oil refineries, hotels have been targeted? Uh, although these are not places which have American troops there, but it has not really made that distinction. That's the oil refinery that I was talking about.
Iran has not discriminated between military and civilian targets. They are targeting all these places. Now, I'm not sure if this is necessarily part of a coordinated or well thought out strategy. We must remember that the top leadership of Iran has been decimated in one attack on Khamenei and his safe house. So there must be a lot of a degree of chaos within the decision making process in Iran. Therefore, it is possible that they are firing wherever they can to cause whatever damage they can. But as General Saab said, that we must remember that Iran has become isolated, and one of the reasons why it is isolated today is that it has been targeting these soft targets in the Arab countries, as a result of which they have started now threatening Iran. Qatar has has said that if Iran targets any of its centers, then it may retaliate, and it has stopped engaging with Iran. Although at one time Qatar was a very close friend of Iran. So this strategy of Iran, whether a coordinated strategy or a random strategy of hitting at civilian targets, is certainly isolating Iran further.
Yeah. And while on one hand it's isolating Iran further, but Americans are also taking casualties. They are also taking hits. And in fact, President Trump made that statement. He said that three soldiers, American soldiers, have died, many others are wounded, and he sort of cautioned that there could be more casualties. If we can have that soundbite up before we go further.
Achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible.
Right. So he's clearly indicating that this war is ongoing. Uh, but is there any end game? Do you think that Americans have a clear objective? Initially, we remember a few months ago, the objective was to destroy Iranian bases where from they thought that they are making those nuclear weapons, and they did that. But today, it seemed that the objective is regime change. But that may not be possible because Iran is not Venezuela. It has a layered system. It may not be possible to carry out a regime change just by, removing Khamenei from the picture. Ambassador Dilip Sinha, this may be a long drawn affair now. Do you think that Americans have an end objective, or they will exhaust Iran and then perhaps bring them to the negotiating table and have a regime of their liking there in place in Iran?
Well, the objective of this in attack was clearly regime change,
Yeah,
because in June last year, President Trump had declared that he had obliterated Iran's nuclear capacity. Now, obliterate
yeah,
means uh, destroyed completely.
yeah.
So, if at all a nuclear program has been resurrected by Iran, it would be in a very nascent or elementary stage at the moment. Now, the
Mm.
attack that took place, in which they killed the top leadership of Iran, was an opportunity that Israel and the Americans seized on to destroy the top leadership. And if you look at the speech of President Trump that night at 2:30 that he released, um, he appealed to the Iranians to rise and said, "This is your opportunity to rise against your regime." So the aim of the attack was to kill the top leadership and then hope that the Iranian people would rise against the regime. Now that hope has been so far belied. The people have not risen against the regime, and the regime has been able to come together. They've been able to get a process in which a supreme leader, at least a replacement of the supreme leader, has been elected. The president seems to be there, and there are other those people who have survived, the foreign minister, Mr. Larijani, etc. So they have activated the government. So to that extent, it appears that the American immediate strategy has not been achieved. Now they can only hope that if the war continues for, let's say, another week or 10 days or 2 weeks, as General Saab said, then Iran's capacity to retaliate will be destroyed, and then Iran will be forced to come to the negotiating table.
Right. And General Katoj, rather than forcing a regime change in Iran, hasn't it gone the other way around? Because Khamenei, many has said that he's become a martyr now. He's become more dangerous for America in his death rather than when he was alive, because it has brought together the Iranians. It has, rather than having them look for a regime change, it has brought about a wave of sympathy and brought them together in favor of Khamenei.
Actually, I don't think that may be totally correct. Within Iran, there is a very large body of opinion which doesn't want, which is not enamored with the Ayatollahs. They want a regime change, but the
Right.
problem is slightly different. There are two. I will put there two basic groups. One
Yeah.
is a group which is let me call it the IRGC, which is totally aligned with the Ayatollah government, and their loyalty is to the Ayatollah. So the IRGC is not the Iranian army. It is really I will say the bodyguards or the protection force of the Ayatollah, and they are the strongest force today in Iran. The other is a very vast public opinion which is divided. Now, in the normal course of events, actually, this public opinion was going against the Ayatollah. But now, as you very correctly said, because they are attacked, they have changed. But I have a feeling that the bigger problem is not that they have been attacked and they have changed their view. They don't have an inherent leader amongst them who can actually rise up and say, let us do this. Now, who are they going to talk to? Who is the person who will become the leader? There is a leadership vacuum in the civil population. And in the present government, if there is somebody there, then he has to speak up. So there is the IRGC and the Ayatollah group. They have a leadership. Though the Khamenei has been killed and the others have been killed, but there is a second rung and there's a third rung. There is somebody. There is some form of leadership, though it is weak. The other party doesn't have the leadership at all. I
Right.
think if a leadership emerges and there is still time, then a government can be formed. Lastly, there is talk of the Shah of Iran. His son is there in
Yes.
the United
Yes.
States. He is the wrong person. He will not be accepted by anybody in Iran. So if the Americans think of thrusting him there, it will not work. This leadership has to come from within Iran. Whichever way we look at it, the regime change can take place. But who comes in has to be what the people of Iran decide. Whether good or bad, it has to be theirs.